Going on, everybody? Getting started here shortly. What is going on, team? I'm excited to have you guys on here. And hopefully, can you hear me? Can you put it in the chat if you can hear me, see the screen? That way I know and I'm not going crazy. Thank you, Jeff. Perfect. 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 All right. Well, let's get started in here. So I created this class. This is something that I've implemented this year, and it has been an absolute game changer for me. And I've spent probably close to 15 grand to get this implemented, learn the process, and systematize it. Because I think follow up is one of those things in the world of real estate that's like, you think it's like a no brainer, but you kind of fall through things, things fall out. And we've all been there, right? That scenario where somebody reaches out to you and they reach out to you, you never followed up, it just kind of like falls through the cracks. Next thing you know, like they end up buying a house with a new agent. We've all been there. And honestly, put yes in the chat if that's happened to you, even if it's been this year or last year, but we've all felt that. So the thought of this for me was like, okay, how can we create a system that allows us to stay top of mind with people? Um, and what does that equate to for numbers? So I created this is just an example. And I think of like, okay, how much is each lead worth us? Um, and so I broke it down with a 30% conversion rate all the way to, a 30% conversion rate from an initial discovery call all the way to closing. So I was like, okay, let's just do 3 closings a month. What does that look like? So 30 solid conversations, which to me, that's like a discovery call to some extent, not much like more than just a quick text back and forth, but an actual intentional conversation of we want to buy or sell. And what does that turn into is 10 buyer listings or buyer consultations to 3 closings a month. Well, if let's just say at a $250,000 sale price, of course it's going to be different for everybody, but at 250, 2.5% commission, each deal is worth right around $6,200. So each conversation, if we start at the very top of that funnel, is worth $625. So every time somebody says, hey, I want to buy a house, I want to sell my house, that conversation alone is worth $625. And to get just to the consult, so get them face to face, get them on a Zoom call, something like this, that's almost a $2,000 cost. And if we don't follow up with them, that money is gone. Because I think if I close my eyes and vision of some of those deals that I've lost that I see on social media, like I can picture the closing picture that my friends frickin' posted on social media of them closing with a new agent, new lender, all that stuff pisses me off. And we've all been there. So how does this follow-up system? It's not necessarily, you don't have enough leads, that you're not working hard enough, or that you need like really expensive technology to do this. I mean, most companies provide a CRM that you're probably not using, but you just don't have a system for it. And I've broken it down. I created a spreadsheet that is just easily repeatable that you can use in your day-to-day. And when we're following up with people, especially like clients or anybody that's wanting to buy a house or has expressed any interest at all, it shouldn't feel like a hassle. You're following up, or even that you're bothering them, because like we ask for transparency in our business, like you would expect the same from clients. So, and I think when you go into that and you go into it with, hey, these people are actually have the best intentions, you can actually, you'll get a higher conversion rate, higher response rate. That makes sense. So here's what we're going to give you today. And I'm going to try to keep this within 30 minutes. If I don't, forgive me. But we want to make sure that we get this info out to you. So what we're going to show you today is a 90-day pipeline tracker. And I'll explain that, show what that looks like. If you have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll answer them, or you can just interrupt me. That's totally cool too. I'm going to show some text templates. This is something with text templates that you really just have to have a feel for and like what you're trying to do. And I'll explain that once we get there. I'll show you what our system looks like, because this is a very simple, the spreadsheet and pipeline tracker is like very simple. I can show you what my system looks like and how I've built it out. Because truly it is one of those things that it's like, I spent a lot of time on it and a lot of money. So we want to be able to scale this too. So if you're at 2 deals a month, 1 deal a month, and you want to get to 5 deals a month or 10 deals a month, there has to be some sort of scalability to that, because like that's when it gets to be overwhelming. And post call, you guys want a 1 hour, hey, we'll jump on a Zoom call and we'll set up that process for you. Like I'm open to do that. So why should we listen to me on this? So this is not even to brag about myself, but I need some credibility around what I'm talking about here. So big thing for me, we are huge on 5-star reviews, and in 5 years we have over 175-star Google reviews, with more on different platforms, but specifically Google is my focus. In the last 3 months, we've had 8 closings with initial lead dates over 6 months. So I track what date do we get that lead? And if that date exceeds 6 months, they fall in this bucket. So that's 8 in the last 3 months and 2 more in our current pipeline right now. So this process is working for me, and this is something that was not working for me. And so my conversion on these leads are way, way higher. And, our goal is to make the agent look like a freaking rock star. So let's start with the power of lead stages. Most people will go into their business thinking, okay, I get a lead, how do we get it to closing? And it's like, that is it. So whether they use use just like their notes app, Sam, I'm calling you out. Some people use a CRM that they kind of half use. They might have a spreadsheet. They might just try to go off memory, which is crazy because I have the worst memory on anyone on the planet. But without these, like, you're kind of flying blind. There's no system there. Like, you're really truly just flying blind in your business, and that's actually probably costing you per conversation. So here's the 7 lead stages that I would use if I was a realtor, and I can talk about what my stages are in our business, but it's different because we have a pre-approval, in process, post-closing. But here's the 7 stages, and this is the timing that I would set up if I was a realtor. First one is a lead contacted. So whether they reach out to me or they reach out to you, that's a stage in my mind. Because remember, this is a system. We want to create a system. So we want to put in our CRM, in a spreadsheet, anything like that. Hey, stage 1, this lead has been contacted. And then we need to set up a follow-up date to that. My standard to that would be every 2 to 3 days, and you gauge that, right? Like 2 to 3 days is my standard. But if someone's like, hey, I'm going to reach out to you next week, I'm going on vacation, then not to follow up, then you set a new contact date. Does that make sense? Put yes in the chat if that makes sense. Perfect. Our stage 2 again would be a discovery call. I am a huge proponent of, before we ever get somebody face to face, that we need to jump on a phone call with them. Just to gauge like their interest. It could be 5 minutes. Just get some qualifying information, but also that kind of helps you figure out what their lead, like what they look like as a lead. Because somebody might say, hey, I'm not actually looking for 6 months, but then you meet them in person, you buy them lunch, buy them a coffee. It's like, well, now you wasted time and money, where you could have just say, hey, let's table this for a month. Let's get something on the calendar, but we still need to meet. I think for follow-up for something like this is a stage you need to set. But for qualification call, if you said, hey, let's schedule a time, they haven't given you a time, I would plan on following up every day or every 2 days until you have a phone call set. Next, stage 3 for me would be qualified and active. So, and I would probably add one in between there. So if you referred it to a lender, if you have staging getting set up, like these are things that it requires a little bit longer follow-up. I would say 3 to 5 days. But if they are actually out looking and we're almost or going into stage 4, they're actively looking or the property is listed, then you're probably talking to them every 3 days, unless, again, this is the standard, and then you just adjust your follow-up dates. But none of this works unless you have a preset. Okay, every 3 days I'm going to follow up with this person. Hey, I have a new property for you. Or every week, if a house has been listed, hey, here are the stats. Here's the days on market. Things are changing, but you have to have those conversations so you're not flying blind. And then stage 5, or under contract, here for me, I don't know. This one, I would say negotiating. For me, this would be, it's under contract. I think minimum there should be a weekly update that you provide. And that should also be in your follow-up as well. And it could be something as simple as, hey, have you talked to your lender? Hey, the inspection, we just got through inspection. Here's when you can expect utilities to be set up for yourself. So these are the type of things that you still have to have, and that's the stage. And then it's easier to visualize that as well. That goes into stage 6, but then stage 7, I almost need to create a whole separate class on this. But this is close and follow-up. In my opinion, our follow-up process is every 6 months post-closing. And we don't miss it, because this is an opportunity for me as the lender to try to see if there's an opportunity to refer back a deal. For you as the agent, it's, do you know friends, family, coworkers? Do you need a contractor? Do you need a new insurance agent? It's stuff like that where you don't find that out unless you have a plan to follow up, because I'm hand up, like before this, guilty of not following up with my past clients. And then guess what? They buy a house with a new lender later on. So you can find some of these opportunities by just shooting a text, shooting a video, shooting whatever. So let's go into the follow-up tracker. But before I do that, does anybody have any questions on the stages? Anything they would want to add to that? You can just put it in chat, or you can go off mute and ask. All right. So let's jump into the 90-day pipeline tracker. So I try to keep this as simple and as easy as possible. And this is just a Google Sheets. And basically, here's the info that I'm looking for. Client name, what type of client they are, because of course, for you guys have buyers and sellers. For me, it would be purchase or refi, the status. And I set my stages up for you guys like I said, a little bit different, added one in here. So lead contacted, discovery call, referred, staging, qualified and active, listing active, under contract, stuff like that. For me, I'm a huge automation person, so I built out automation in mine, and I'll show that. But lead date, if somebody reaches out and shoots you a text, if anyone even talks about real estate and expressing any sort of interest, you have to write down what day that was. And the reason being is because you need to track. This is how you can track. Okay, if somebody reached out to me November of last year and they just closed next month, like that is a success story that you should talk about. Close date, in my opinion, if you get a new lead, the close date should be 90 days out. In our business, generally these work in 90-day cycles. It's not very typical that it's not very typical that they express interest and in 30 days they close. It's typically, hey, they reach out, we do our discovery call, then we wait a week, and then we meet in person, and then they're getting pre-approved, and by that time we're up 3 weeks has already passed, and so we still have 60 days to close on a new place. But then you can set your close date. So let's just say if we made up an example of Joe Smith, which we already have a John Smith in here. But if they're like, hey, we don't think we're going to start looking until January, well, then your close date's probably going to be April 1 of 26. And that's how you set your follow-up. So last contact date, if you send them a text, you send them a message, keep track of your notes. And then you set up like I said, your follow-up dates are based off of your status. So if this guy was, we had a discovery call and we're not going to meet for 3 months, well, then I'm probably just going to follow up in 3 weeks just because I need to know, let's just say I got this person today. I'm still going to set up a follow-up for probably August 15th because they're probably not taking it very seriously yet, but we need to know. So I don't build spreadsheets super well, but we can definitely go through this together, and you can set up, colors based off of how soon you need a follow-up, but this gives you a good idea of how you should set up a follow-up sheet is when's the last time I talked to them? When is the next time I talk to them? And then you look at this every single day, or you set your days on when you're going to follow up. That makes sense. Would this be something that would be helpful to give you some more structure with your follow-up? You can just put yes in the chat or no. Yeah, Sam, that's a tough, but also then you can also have better notes in a spreadsheet, and then build out new stuff. So for me, the type of messages that you send should be intentional with the stage that they're in. So like stage 1, hey, just following up on our conversation. Anything that's come up since we've chatted, it's such low pressure. I'm so anti hard selling that I won't pressure somebody into a conversation with me. And an example is I have a lead that I met last, I think May, has been cold, dark, realtor's not able to get in touch with them. And I haven't been able to get in touch with them if I talk about mortgage or buying a house. I just shot him a text and just said, hey, dude, I was thinking about you the other day. How's everything going? How's your summer? And he responded and said, hey, I think we're ready to actually buy. So now we're getting them pre-approved. And it was just from the genuine curiosity. Same thing, for you guys, hey, I found a few properties that fit the criteria that we talked about. Is this something I could send over to you? Things where it's like people they shouldn't say no to these type of conversations. And then weekly updates. I'm a huge proponent of weekly updates, and you should set almost stages for that too. Like, what part of the process are we in? Has the appraisal gone through? Yes or no? Get those due dates from the lender. Like I said, utilities, final walkthroughs. Like, these are conversations that you can have, but also that's another opportunity to talk to this person, ask them, hey, are you having a 5-star experience with us so far? Yes. Okay. Do you know anybody else that's looking to buy or sell that would also want a 5-star experience? So it's just the genuine curiosity that turns into more business. Does that make sense? Great. Okay. So scalability. This is something to me is really, really important. And one of the tools that I use and I think could help, like I said, this is going to be more manual, but it is something that really, really helps with scalability. And that is the Reach app. It's a green logo, and the Reach app is a texting app that uses your cell phone. So you can set the stages in your text messages, set groups like, hey, this is lead contacted, and then move contacts into that. Then you can just build out your follow-up in there, and it just sends mass text. It's an amazing thing, and it's using your own phone number, so you don't have to get the CRM 1-800 number for free. And people are like, who the hell is this person? So I am a huge fan of the Reach app, and if you have a paid version, I think it's like $5 a month. So I would spend $60 a year to make an additional $2,000 a deal and get a higher conversion rate. The next one is, for me, it's like calendar automation. So I'll show with my CRM what I do, because it reminds me every day who I need to follow up with. But this is something that you should set these follow-ups on your calendar. And there's tools out there that you can do it. So if this is something where, hey, we want to get more in depth with my follow-up, I'll help you set it up. Again, some of this stuff is paid. So like if you're willing to spend, say, $100 a month on tools that are going to help you meet more follow-up, to me, that's worth it. And then for CRMs are great because a lot of this stuff is built out for you. It's just whether you use it or not. And to me, I'm like, if it doesn't look good in my face, then I'm not even going to touch it. So I don't really use our company provided CRM because I don't think it looks good and I really don't think the functionality is there. So I pay for a separate CRM, and I think I pay like $40 a month, and I get a bunch of automation. So here's what it looks like from our end, and I'm going to show some client names. So bear with me here. But let's just say, we have clients. This is what it looks like. Priority. If there's not really a priority, I don't use it. But for me, it's like our stages here go from lead not contacted, initial call scheduled, contacted, sent. All these different stages that we set up for people, and each of them creates an automation. So let's just say I'm just going to use Sam as an example because we have a lead together. Like if I say, hey, this person moved to a different stage, it's automatically going to send Sam an email. And what that looks like from a follow-up standpoint is, I create a board for myself and my CRM that every day I get it's funny, this daily task follow-up. It's just, I don't even use it. I need to delete it. But let's just say, hey, this person's an initial call. Nick, I know you're on here. This is going to send you, if I just click done, hey, I followed up with that subject one. You're going to get an email from me. And I didn't have to text you. It's automated for me that, hey, Nick, I followed up with this person. They're in this stage, and I'll keep you up to date on what's going on. And I can show what that looks like for everybody. But this is something that I built out for myself. So every Tuesday and Thursday, I can just go in here, look at who I need to follow up with, and then as soon as I followed up with that client, click a button and it lets the realtor know. Because that's another thing I think in our business that's really missed is, you send somebody a lead and you never know where it's at unless the person's followed up. So for me, it's set these times, follow up with the person, shoot that email, and as soon as I get a response from the client, hey, what did we talk about? So to me, that seems like it's a no-brainer, and it saves me a lot of time because I'm the ultimate procrastinator, and if I don't have automation to help me, then I'm going to miss it, if that makes sense. What questions do you guys have on that? I'm almost through this, I promise. But does this seem like it would be helpful to have like a system for follow-up, as simple as the spreadsheet? Love it. Yeah. And that'll be $500. So, so and Lisa, you sent me a message. Let's reconnect on this. Let's reconnect on your CRM specifically, because I want to see stuff. If for specific CRMs, if I haven't used it before, I at least just want to see how it operates, because I've had CRMs in the past where I've paid people to set it up, and I've had CRMs like the current one I have that I set it up myself. So it's just a time and money thing. So we'll take a look at that. We'll schedule time to take a look. So here's what weekly should look like is this stuff doesn't take too long, especially if, like I said, if we're not chasing, we want more leads, but we need to capture the leads that we do have. So this shouldn't take, too long. So every day you should open it, take a look at it, take the 2 minutes to just update the notes, or even the end of the day, update your notes. Who do I need to follow up with? Freaking iPhones now have like scheduling text messages. You could literally schedule all your follow-ups for a week. It's awesome. And that's generally what I do. And then, every week you're doing your weekly updates, and then every 6 months, pick a day. I do Fridays. Fridays is better for me. I set all my follow-ups to be, our post-closing follow-ups to be Friday. And that's just reaching out to a client. Hey, you've been in the house for 6 months. Jump on a quick call. I just want to talk about how payments have been. I find pain points of the client is an opportunity to refer something back. It's stuff like that where even if you would have got very similarly, if you work with financial planners and they refer you the deal and you follow up with their client 6 months, well, maybe they're like, hey, actually, we have a ton of cash flow now, and you can refer back to financial client, and you're gonna see your referrals go up. You're gonna see your clients convert at a higher rate, and you're gonna get those closings from like people that you met a year ago because you're just staying in touch every once in a while, and it's intentional, and there's systems to it. So if you ever hired a team, so I don't know if any of you guys have any team members, but this is something you could teach to them. Copy and paste and just say, hey, put on anybody that's you've ever talked to real estate, the day that you met them, the next time you're going to reach out to them, and then put it on their calendar. So, and I already say this, more responses, a pipeline that actually converts, already beat that. So the biggest thing is the cost of this, the impact of losing $6,000, maybe one deal a year to that, it happens. But when you see it over and over, like if you made an extra $20,000, like what would that do to your quality of life? Just to close 4 extra deals by just small changes to a system. The time, the disorganization, that feeling. The worst feeling I have is when I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do today? And so this helps me, excuse my language, but I'm so passionate about it. But this just helps me. Like if I don't know what to do, it's like, all right, who do I need to follow up with? And I have a system and it's all built out. And then really the work for you is just making sure that you enter your leads in. And our system has changed a little bit because we've added a team member that helps with our pre-approvals. But so we have a separate spreadsheet to track those. But we have to do it that way so we know who to follow up with. And then if you close your eyes and just picture, like, what would your business look like 12 months from now if every single person that you talked about real estate with, like if you kept in touch with them and you never had a falling out, like, do you think you would close more deals? Like, I'm 100% confident in, like I said, I've had 8 in the last 3 months with over 6-month lead. And this is, like I said, we run on a 90-day scale. So if they get over 90 days, that person generally might fall out if you don't stay in touch with them. So with 2 active deals right now that I don't know where the hell this thing went. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. So 8 in the last 3 months and more in the pipeline right now. And we even have more that we stay following up with. So this stuff works, and I wouldn't be teaching it if I wasn't passionate about it. So the common objections or that feeling that you're probably having is like, I don't want to deal with a spreadsheet. But a spreadsheet is the thing that makes you $6,000 and it can give you 4 extra deals a year. Like, to me, that's worth it. CRMs, we've talked about that a little bit. If you guys want help with your current CRM, I'm happy to jump on a call or a Zoom call and let's just dive in and let's see how we can set it up, because either you pay somebody to do it or you have to do it yourself, or you find a new system to do it with. And right now, texting is working the best. Same with videos. I find that people my age, us Gen Zers, we don't answer the phone. And so if you're following up with a Gen Zer, they're not going to answer. They don't want to talk. So shooting them a quick text that's super low pressure, you're going to get a higher response rate than probably calling them. But you should still definitely call people every once in a while just to check in. But I find that it's easier to have like a soft sell over text than it is when you call them and be like, hey, Sue, haven't talked to you in a while. You still wanting to buy a house? They're going to be like, why are you calling me about this? So does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions on this? And then I'll talk about there's levels to this stuff too. Questions, comments, concerns, or criticism. I'm even open to criticism. All right. So here's what next steps would look like for you. Um, Very basic foundational level is just get a system in place, download a tracker, getting text templates. Just I'm very happy to just jump on a call, which is like level 2. So like, hey, we have the foundation of what we want our follow up to look like. Now, how do we implement that? I will help. I love implementation, and I think quick to implement is quicker to make money. So let's talk about how to personally do that. Now, if you're comfortable with technology and you feel like this is something that you can stick to, then I would really encourage you to fully automate. Oh, fully automate this process. And so that could be CRMs. Like I said, I showed mine. It sends an automatic email to say, hey, this we followed up with this person. Automated sequences. So like, hey, if we move a client from, hey, we contacted them and we sent them the app link to application, you're going to get it automatically lets the agent know, hey, this person filled out an application. We'll let you know what the next steps are once we talk to them. And then you can track it that way as well. So um, and then let's see if it goes. So if you do want to connect, I'm going to follow up with all of you, and then I will share this, make a copy of it, make it your own. Like I said, I'm not a wizard with spreadsheets. I'm way better in a CRM than I am in a spreadsheet. But I'll share this with you, implement it, and then let's plan on jumping on a 30 minutes, 1 hour call, and let's figure out the best way that you can increase your follow up. So um, does anybody have any questions? I put it like right at 30 minutes here, try to get through it quick. Um, but I would say the latest you should get this implemented is Monday. So I'm going to get this over to you today. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms for me, or did you guys find this helpful? And do you think this is something that would be worth teaching to a team to help have higher conversion with your team? Love it. Love it. Cool. So what I'll do is I will follow up with each of you individually. I'll send you the link to make a copy of the tracker, and then have obviously my contact info, and then I'll give you a link. If we want to schedule a call and talk through it, how it would impact you, we'll do that. But thank you all again for joining the recording. I'll also invite each of you to my Facebook group. The only way to get these recordings is in my Facebook group, and I'll get you guys invited to that if you're not already, and then follow up with each of you personally. So thank you again. Have a great rest of your day. And then looking forward to connecting with you guys. Take care.